Hi yogis, it's Maud here again, and welcome to your lower body yin yoga class. In a lower body yin yoga class, we are going to target our lower back, our hips, our legs, and even just saying lower body yin, I can already sort of taste the deliciousness of the practice because I just worked out today and worked my legs crazy hard. And so I am going to feel it. And so my hope is that you feel it too, regardless of whether you worked out or not. I have my trusty blocks, my bolster, my blanket, my pillow. As you guys probably know, in a yin yoga practice, we want to feel as supported as we possibly can. And so, what I want you to do is grab anything that's within your line of sight, all the pillows, all the cushions, and just to make sure that they're within your arm's reach so that when you need them, you can just grab them. So, we are going to get into a constructive resting pose here on our backs. And so I would encourage you to grab one of your props and place it underneath the head like a pillow so that you can sort of just rest here. And bend your legs. And we're just going to spend a few moments here, actually, not manipulating anything, but just listening to the body. Place your fingers on top of your rib cage area, part of it, of the fingers on your belly. And then feet could be wider than hip width apart or whatever feels comfortable to you. Let your elbows melt down towards the ground and take the time to close your eyes or just keeping your gaze low and soft. And whatever your story was or is before you took this practice, like I said, for me, I had a really intense workout this morning, a really nice brunch, but I feel just this sort of zinging in my legs and my hips. And whatever the story is for you, maybe you just came from working, maybe you're about to start your day, or maybe you're about to sleep, just woke up, whatever time of day you're practicing this yin yoga practice. I want you to honor that story and that you chose to be here. And there are no accidents in this, practice of yoga. We really do choose to roll out the mat and spend some time here to do some self-care and self-healing. And so acknowledge that, embrace that, and even thank yourselves for that, for making time. Breathing at your own pace, like I said, just listening to the body. And already tuning out anything that might attempt to take you away from this practice. I just say, no siree, I'm going to stay right here because I prioritize myself. And then let's take a deep inhale in. Expand your rib cage. And as you exhale, feel your back body soften towards the ground. Inhale. Everything inflates circumferentially. Front-sided back, 360 degrees. In, and exhale. Surrender to the mat. And do that breathing exercise a couple more times on your own. And notice if there's any choppiness, any reluctance, or maybe you're breathing super fluid, whatever that may feel like or whatever that may look like for you. Just acknowledge that and do not judge yourself for that. In a yin yoga practice, we hold our poses for quite a while. And so we're already establishing some patience here. And temper your eagerness to get to the next thing right away. Perhaps one more breath. Nice job. Perhaps you blink your eyes open or you let them remain closed and you can just listen to me. That's fine. Walking your feet a little closer together and just slowly dropping your right knee down. We're just going to open and close just this right leg, this right hip, this right knee. And I know this is not a yin yoga move necessarily, but I'm also a fan of
mobilizing first and kind of really listening to any kinks, any gunk that needs to sort of open up first before we get into these deep, deep, deep poses. Opening and closing. One more time. And then keep the right knee open, being on the outside edge of that right foot. Noticing the level of sensation in your groin area, the inner thigh, perhaps your glute. Hopefully not your ankles. Hopefully your ankles are just fine. If not, then cushion them, place something underneath them. And then keeping the right knee open, walk your left foot towards the left edge of the mat. And this time we're going to drop our left knee in. And without moving this right leg, we're going to lift our left leg back and up. So instead of opening out to the side, think of this as closing in and then opening up back to center. Two more times, just like we did on that right leg, but keeping the right hip open. And then slowly drop the left knee in into this first full twist over on the right side. Breathing in and out. Again, no judgment. We've been here for quite a while. You can stay right here in this shape, or you can lift your right leg up and place your right ankle on top of your left thigh and get that nice full twist towards the right. Listen to your lower back, keeping the chest liberated and spacious and open. Keeping the muscles in the face soft and relaxed. Hands in the rib cage, just to remind us of the inflation of the rib cage, the torso as we inhale, and the gradual coming back to center on the exhale. And then slowly come back to center. Lift the right foot off of the mat. Send both knees towards the chest. If you'd like to roll left and right, do so. We can do knee circles, whatever feels good for you as you feel that rebound or that recoil from the first pose that we just did. Nice job. Plant the feet down a little bit closer towards each other. And this time we're going to drop the left knee down, or other ways of thinking about it would be to open up the left hip and just closing it in. About 4 more times. Notice if you tend to bounce the knee down, or can you just gradually open it up like a huge, big, hardbound book. Which reminds me, I need to open my big, hardbound Harry Potter book. I haven't done that in a while. Any Harry Potter fans out there, you know what I'm talking about. It's the ones with the pictures and with a collage of all the events and behind the scenes and all the fun stuff. But anyway, I'm going to shut up about Harry Potter now. Keep the left hip and the left knee open. Keeping the fingers relaxed on your torso, on your rib cage. Again, as you inhale, just acknowledge that pushing out. There's a balloon inside the body, let it expand, and as you exhale, coming back to home base. And then slowly walk the right foot towards the right edge of the mat. And then start to bring the right knee in, opening it back to center with the right knee pointing up. Do that about 3 or 4 more times just to even out. And as some of you may know, in the yin yoga practice, we are taking the muscles away from the practice. I mean, they'll be kind of involved a little bit here and there, but the focus really is inside, right? The connective tissues, the ligaments, the tendons, the fascia. And so the thought is that because we're getting really deep, deep, deep into those tissues that are not superficial, unlike the muscle, which is superficial, that it really takes time for us to get deep into those and to feel the sensation in those lovely structures in the body. And you can keep the right knee in here. And so that's why we spend a little bit more time here and using the breath to really tap into those sensations, getting into our first edge, and then making peace with the time that we're spending there, and then allowing yourselves to really just linger in the pose, getting any fidgets and getting any wiggles out of the way, anything that wants to like pull out and distract us and tell us to keep going and going, like the monkeys that we are. This is the practice to do the opposite of that. This is the practice where we say, I'm okay with being here. I'm okay with being still. And I will be patient. Trust me, yin is probably the biggest and most challenging practice for me because I am a monkey and I have no choice but to just enjoy and relish the moment. Lift your left ankle off of the mat. Plant it outside the right thigh and find this nice and bigger twist. You probably noticed we got to this twist in a little bit more gradual manner. And some yin purists may not like that, which is okay. I just come from the philosophy of mobility and sort of listening to the body, little movements here and there before these deep poses. And so, if you're a purist, I hope you're still enjoying this practice. Otherwise, it's just good to have a bit of flavor of movement. And then we get into the long yin holds. One more deep breath. And slowly take the left foot off of your thigh. Come back to center. Wiggle anything that needs to wiggle. Whatever your rebound or your recoil looks like, you honor that because it's different for each person. So now we'll get to a figure four stretch. So right foot comes in towards the midline, left ankle on top of your right thigh. So for here, we're just going to direct our knee and our thigh away from the chest, keeping the upper body just relaxed. If you're not used to a yin practice, you can already tell how much patience is sort of mandated or required in this practice. I laugh about it because that's exactly why I practice this, because I so need it. Lift your right foot off of the mat. And you can interlace your fingers on your right shin or your right hamstrings. If swaying the legs left and right feels good to you, do that. Otherwise, just stay right here. I know this looks like a static pose, but I hate to use the word static because I try to make a difference with each breath. So when I exhale, you can feel, or at least I can feel, a deeper and intimate relationship somewhere in the body. And in my case, I feel a deeper relationship between my lower back and the mat every time I exhale. For some people, it's a little bit more opening on that left hip, that left thigh. So it may look like we're not doing anything, but plenty of stuff is happening. You can stay in this very same shape if you're already getting plenty of sensation, or you can lengthen the right leg up for a bit of opening in the back leg. You can relax that foot. If you find that interlacing your fingers behind the leg is a bit of a challenge or not in the cards today, you can grab a strap or a belt and you can just wrap it around the leg and you can grab it. Still directing the left knee away from the chest. Bang for your buck. Inhale. Exhale. Nice job. Right foot down. Keep the figure four shape. We're just going to roll onto our right side, placing the left foot down. And you can lengthen the right arm, or you can just keep using that pillow underneath your head, or you can plant your hand on top of the arm. And then you can already direct your left knee or left thigh away from the chest, or you can use your left hand to kind of nudge it away from the chest. So it's totally up to you if you want it a little bit more passive or active. It's always good to add some good stress here. This is good stress on that left hip and that left glute as well. Some people feel this in the groin. So we kind of just enjoy our moment here. This is like a figure four stretch, but a different orientation. Keep breathing in and out. Even though your hands are away from the belly, just direct your attention towards the area in the torso that expands in the inhale and comes back to home base on the exhale. Now I feel it in my glute. Do you? And if you don't, maybe you're feeling it somewhere else, and I want you to honor that. I don't want you to force anything in here. Breathing in and out, yogis. Last final breath, at least for this shape and this pose. Slowly release. We're going to get into cat pulling its tail, which is just my favorite name of any pose. Since the left leg is on top, I want you to direct your left leg forward so that your left knee is forward, and then your right leg is behind you. Now prop yourself up with your right elbow for now, and you can even rest your head on top of your elbow. So left leg is in front, right leg is in the back. I want you to use your left hand to grab your right foot. And using the hand, I want you to kick your right foot into the hand, which sort of encourages the left shoulder to open up. And then this left leg can stay bent. Or if you have the mobility or the flexibility or just the ability to lengthen it in front of you, then do so. If you lengthen it and it's taking away the yummy sensation and it brings you into a more forceful sensation, then don't do it. You can keep it bent and you're still getting plenty enough sensation. I'm going to get rid of my pillow so that I can just rest my head on top of my elbows. Sorry, on top of my hands. Some days I just can't cue right. Lengthen the left leg forward and kicking my right foot back. Pretty soon I know I'll just land and plant my head on top of my right arm. But that's okay. I'm trying not to get too excited to get there because this is still working for me. And so for you guys, Whatever works for, your head. If you want to get it right on that arm right away, if you would just want to lie down, that's cool too. I'm going to spend a little bit more time here. Then just perhaps in my last few breaths, I'm going to rest my head on my hand, my bicep, my arm rather. See? My mind's already starting to float somewhere else, so I apologize for that. Breathing in and out. Even though I can't name all the body parts right today, still enjoying the practice and finding the humor in it. Last time, inhale. And then exhale. Slowly release the right foot. Bend the left leg. And you can stack the left knee on top of the right as you gently push yourselves up. Because we're going to get into shoelace position. Now, keep the right leg at the bottom of the left. I will not be mirroring you right now, so just make sure the right leg is at the bottom, the left leg is on top. Ignore my bed head and my bed hair. Snuggle the knees in a little bit closer. This is shoelace, right? But if you know your shoelace just looks a little bit elevated, or you just can't snuggle the knees in closer together, use a block. Put something between your limbs so that, like I said, you feel supported, you feel safe, and you feel like you can just stay here. And so snuggle in however your post looks like. That's totally fine. You may need some adjustments in your booty. Staying right here, you can just place your hands on top of the legs. Inhale here, breathe in. And as you exhale, you can stay upright. Just interlace your fingers on top of your left knee or your left thigh. And just sort of let the upper body just chill because the lower body is getting plenty of attention. I have no idea how I look like. Can't really see myself in the camera, but trust me, if I would get a brush and comb my hair, but that's okay. That's not what we're here for today. Where does your mind tend to wander when you're in these poses that kind of, well, I hate to use the word force, but almost like you have no choice but to be still. And so mind is honestly food, and that's not even a lie. And when I say food, I tend to think of sweets because I'm a sweet tooth. So in my mind right now, I am thinking of sugar cookies, which are evil. Also, ginger snaps, which are my favorite. And it may sound like I'm just gabbing and talking for the sake of killing time, but I really am trying to process my thought into not getting attached to the foods that I'm thinking, treating them like clouds, and then letting them pass. And sometimes talking about them makes it easier for them to just let go. Inhale here. Exhale. Perhaps one more breath. And then exhale. Slowly release. Now remember the right leg is below, so the hands can help the left leg. And in your rebound, you can do knee bounces, you can do windshield wipers, whatever feels good. But neutralize. And so windshield wipers are a good neutralizing movement for any pose really that has engaged the lower body because it's good for the lower back. It releases it. The legs is kind of like windshield wiper, which is the perfect name. Nice job. One more time on each side. This is our rebound and our recoil.
and come back to center. I'm actually going to place myself on the other side of my mat. And so I'm going to move my pillow here. You guys don't have to, but for the sake of viewing, I'm going to place myself on the other side because we are actually going to do all of that on the other side. And if you guys remember, we started with a figure four, which sounds like we did that forever ago. But right ankle on top of your left thigh this time. Like I said, already feeling this stretch, already feeling the sensation rather of opening the right knee and the right thigh away from the chest. Now I'm finding the opportunity to find my fingers back on the rib cage, on my rib cage, so that I can have a tactile, a touching, tangible experience of the breath coming in and out. And so yin is the darker, cooler side of the practice, yeah. And so, as I mentioned before, we're taking the muscles away from the practice. It's easy to warm up the muscles. They receive and give off that energy pretty quick, right? Just do one burpee and then your muscles will feel it. But what we're doing is we're getting deeper and deeper inside. So we have to be patient. Lift your left foot off of the mat, keeping that figure four shape, interlacing fingers on the left shin or the left hamstring. Or, like I said, you can use a strap or a belt in case the limbs are too far away from you. And so, yin has a deep Eastern medicine history as a part of it, as part of its roots. And so, growing up in the Philippines, a lot of the theories that my dad had shared with us and with the family, I didn't know it then, but they were very yin like principles. And so now that I practice this, it's just funny. And my dad has passed, And sometimes, when I practice yin, I almost wish like he was still around because he would have said, I told you so. Told you so. I told you so. And sorry, I just had to share that little bit about my dad. You can stay in this shape if this is working perfectly for you, and I really mean it, guys. These are only options. Or you can lengthen the left leg up, relaxing the foot to get into that hamstring. Opening up the right knee and the right hip still, so you don't lose that sensation. Kind of getting bang for our buck here, a little bit of multitasking, multi-purpose figure four shape. Breathing in and out. Last breath right here. Appreciating yourselves for being patient. And then slowly plant your left foot down. Keeping this figure four shape, we are going to roll into our left side. So keep that figure four shape. Your right foot will be down. Roll onto your left side. Again, make a good decision. How you want to rest your head on top of your left arm, on top of your blanket, whatever feels good to you. And so as you're here, we're just going to relax the upper body, but keep the right knee away from you and keep the right hip opening.
And so we get to our first edge. The first edge is always getting acquainted with the shape. So even though we've done this on the one side, it always feels different on the other side, right? Because we're never fully and 100% equal or symmetrical. And then getting into the second edge, it means you settle into that pose. Now it's familiar. Now you've become close friends, good friends, and not just acquaintances. And then when you get to your third edge, it's really all about time, being okay with staying here. Notice any choppiness in the breath. Also, notice if you feel snoozy, if you just want to sleep, and encourage yourself to add some good stress on that right hip. If there's enough stress there, you definitely won't fall asleep because there is a very strong sensation in there. It's a gradually unraveling sensation. Nice breaths. Just a few more. And then slowly release from this pose. We're going to get into cat pulling its tail. And I'm going to shove the pillow or the blanket away already because I know I want to prop my head up on my left hand, making any adjustments that you need on your mat. Right leg is forward and the left leg is back. Keep it bent. The right hand reaches out towards your left foot. And you can kick your left foot towards your right hand so that you feel a bit of sensation at the front of that hip, even the quad. And then you can lengthen your right leg any amount. Like I said, some of you may already rest your head on top of your left arm. I'm feeling pretty good here with my head propped up on my left hand, so I'm going to stay right here for a bit. Being okay with the silence. If you have any noise around you, maybe your kids are running around, maybe somebody's tinkering in the kitchen and all you're hearing are the clanking of utensils, maybe cars outside the house. This is the time to let your breath out, tune out all those sounds and all those distractions. On the last few breaths, I'm going to rest my head down. Maybe you want to, maybe you don't. Inhale, exhale. One more time, just like that, full breaths. And then exhale. Ah, feels so good. Slowly release the foot. You can stack the right knee on top of the left.
And then gently push yourselves up into your shoelace pose. Oh my gosh, I don't know how my hair looks like. This time the left leg is going to be underneath and the right leg is going to be on top. So, however that shape looks like to you, go ahead and do that. Snuggle in deep, make any adjustments with your booty flesh. Again, if your limbs are it's just hard for you to get them on top of each other or to get the right leg on top of the left, grab your blocks, grab your props, have something between your limbs because it matters more to me that you enjoy the practice and that the practice becomes sustainable for you. Otherwise, swing your feet out. Again, interlace your fingers on top of the knee. Upper body is super relaxed, just like my hair. I don't know how I look like right now. Like a cave woman. That's okay. Inhale here. Exhale. Enjoy this shoelace. Turning our hips in. We've opened our hips out. We've lengthened our legs and our patience. We've opened up the front of the hip as well. And now we're taking things in. I apologize if all I've made you think of is ginger snaps or sugar cookies. I'll make sure not to grab those after this practice. In fact, I'm going to tell myself and discipline myself not to. Relax your upper body. Release any tension in the jawline, the space between the eyebrows, your face. Relax the tongue and the roof of the mouth if you can. Relax your shoulders down and relax your elbows down, even though you have a nice grip in your fingers. I may have failed to mention this earlier, but if you do feel like you've maxed out on your stretch and you're no longer feeling it, so you've gotten to your 120% maybe, which I hope not, feel free to come out of the pose, enjoy your rebound and your recoil, and then come back to it. That way, we always want to feel sensation and we're not just here hanging out like nothing's happening. There's good stress that's happening. There is compression, there's shearing, there's gliding and sliding. All these yummy stuff. Inhale and exhale. So beautiful. Last breath. And exhale, please. Good job. Let the hands help the right leg off of the left. And whatever your recoil looks like I said, you can do knee bounces, you can do windshield wiper. For me, I think I'm going to change it up a little bit. Give some knee bounces right here. And maybe plop my ankles in and out, to side rather. And let's come into all fours, or hands and knees, or quadruped. Let's do a couple of cat cows here, shall we, before we get into our lizard pose. Knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Zip up your belly if you want, so that you're not dumping anywhere just yet. And then inhale, drop the belly, lift your gaze and lift your tailbone. And then you slowly round out the spine. Tucking your chin towards the chest, puffing up your middle back towards the sky. Find a nice breath in here. Inhaling and exhaling. Two more times just like this with your fingers spread so you feel a strong base in your shoulders.
And this is just an intermission, yeah? Just to kind of release from those long poses. Nice job. Send that left foot outside of the left hand. You can slide it back. You can actually grab your blocks in case you know you need them underneath your hands or your arms, or you can grab any of your props. I'm just going to put my blocks here as an option. And then slide your right knee away from you. And then hands underneath your chest. And like I said, I'm a fan of movement. So move your hips left and right, sway left and right before we get into our deep lizard pose, our deep lizard experience. And so noticing right groin, left hip, left glute. As you sway left and right, different parts of the body are talking to you, and that's okay. And whenever you're ready, or you can keep swaying, you can keep your hands down, and this can be your shape, or you can come a little bit lower on your forearms, opening up the left hip, relaxing the upper body any amount. And like I said, the blocks are always there because they are your best friends that sort of support you and meet you halfway. So if this is your comfortable lizard today, then please honor that and just stay right there and be okay with it. Otherwise, you can be in this on the blocks and the props, and then eventually, after X number of breaths, then you can make it down into the ground, which is fine. Just breathing in and out. Those toes in the left foot can turn out a little bit to accommodate the hips. It's okay. And accommodate the groin as well. Maybe the inner thigh, the glutes. I'm going to slide the blocks away, but that's just my option. Otherwise, stay with the blocks underneath the forearms and the elbows. Totally up to you. It's a pretty deep pose. And now you know why it makes sense to gradually get there and why those shimmies left and right were probably good introductory sensations to this even deeper sensation. Take a full breath right here. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. Plant your hands down. You can grab your blocks as well as we lengthen this left leg for a good back of the leg stretch. And so you can heel toe your left foot towards the midline of your mat. Keep the right knee where it is. Again, hands can be on the blocks, relaxing that left foot to really get into the hamstring. Inhale here to lengthen the spine. And then exhale, finding your fold right here. Notice the changes in the breath and notice the difference in the breath. You can stay right here in this more active expression of the stretch, or you can slide your hips back, sit your right booty towards your right heel, and have a bit of a passive practice. My favorite is when I prop my elbows to the blocks or the prop and I can just sort of chill. But again, there is still sensation in the left leg. The point of yin is it may look like you're just relaxing, but really there's good stress that's happening. And so you're not sleepy, you're not dozing off.
there's still sensation in there. And so we just want to hone in on that, even though it looks like we're just taking a chill pill. You stay, kind of hanging out on the beach. But really, you're like, no, there's a lot of stuff going on in the back of my leg. Last breath right here. And then slowly release, hands on the blocks, and you can walk them forward with you. Recoil, rebound in any way that makes sense to you. You can revisit those cat cows. Maybe for you it's a child's pose. Maybe for you it's a down dog. We can do a very sluggish down dog as well. And just whatever it is that you're doing, just do it for 2 or 3 more breaths. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answers here because you really are the one calling the shots. You know what you need. Come right back down. And this time, direct your right foot outside the right hand. And then send your left knee back. And we're going to get into lizard, but get our hands underneath our chest first. And then, just like we did before, sway left and right. Let this movement prepare the body for the deeper sensation. And again, if you're a purist with yin, I apologize. You can keep practicing the yin practice that you want to stick to, which is okay. I just like a bit of movement here. I'm a mobility junkie, that's why. Notice groin, inner thigh, and glute, depending on which direction you're swaying. Honor your story. There's no right or wrong answer. All right, let's get in our lizard. You can keep your hands where they are. You can keep your back toes tucked. Like I said, your best friends, your blocks. You can plant your elbows and your forearms down there. Opening the chest, perhaps. Maybe spending half the time here before you get your elbows down on the ground. And again, you can even allow those toes to turn out a little bit towards the right. Can we just enjoy this moment? And can we just listen to our hips and our glutes and our legs say, thank you for making me do this, for getting me in this shape. Enjoy the silence. That's a song from Depeche Mode, one of my favorite bands. I'm going to get rid of the blocks right now. You have the option also. You also have the option to stay where you are and do not let my practice influence yours. Which part of your body is saying thank you right now? Is it your front left hip? Is it the groin on your right side? Is it your glute? Is it your right hip? Is it your bicep getting a bit of activity? Surrender. Just yield and give in. Inhale here, please. Open mouth, exhale. Nice ending to this pose. Hands on the ground or on the mat. getting into our back of the leg stretch, hamstring stretch, so you can grab the blocks with you. Slide your foot towards the middle of your mat, the midline of your mat, keeping the left knee where it is. Hands on the props or on something, or if you are super flexible, you can plant your palms down. Relax your right foot. Inhale here. Exhale, finding your fold. Supposedly, flexing the ankle is more of a nerve stretch, and relaxing the foot really is more of a hamstring sensation. And so I don't know much of the science around it. It's something that I want to understand deeper for sure. But if you try both, flexing and just relaxing, there is a difference. And it's true, when you relax your foot, you kind of feel it a little bit, a lot more in the hamstring rather. But if you flex the ankle, almost like it includes the calf and all that. So you can do both, and that's okay. Just some information that I want to share. And you can stay right here in a little bit more active shape and experience, or you can sit your left hip back towards your left heel. In a more passive stretch, rest your elbows down. Again, not to hang out, not to doze off, but just to relax the upper body as the back of that right leg is still feeling some love. Deep breaths. Enjoy the silence. I have the song in my head now. I can't get rid of it. Last few breaths. Whatever's out there distracting you, tune it out, tune it out. You're in your home stretch. You've already spent a lot of time here, and so just enjoy it. We're going to end it respectfully, respectful of your time and energy as well. Slowly release, walk your blocks forward, rebound and recoil in any way that makes sense to you. And so for me, it would be hands and knees, a bit of cat cow here. Maybe for you, it's a child's pose. Maybe for you, it's a down dog, a sluggish down dog. Please honor that and take about 2 breaths to enjoy that. And start to make your way on your backs. Nice job. You can keep the blanket underneath your head, or you can sort of slide it away. Shimmy, shimmy the hips, shimmy, shimmy the shoulders. Nice job. All right, send your knees towards the chest. And then lift your feet towards the sky. I just want you to grab the back of the knees for this open shaped happy baby pose. The lower spine is down. Just allowing some space in the torso and the spine. Deep flexion in those hips as you're bringing the knees towards your armpits. And then slowly bring the knees together. Have a nice sweet twist left and right. So bring your knees towards the right. Glue your left shoulder blade down. You can always place something between the thighs to let the pelvis feel even. I do that in a lot of my classes, but for me right now, somehow, this one feels good. Just stacking the knees. You can turn your head towards your left arm.
We started with a twist. Now this is a deeper twist. I'm sure your lower back is plenty oriented. Slowly release from the twist. And then send your hips to the right and your knees to the left. Glue your right shoulder blade down. You can turn your head towards your right arm. Still doing a good job of tuning everything and everyone out, I hope. And then slowly release from the twist. Please find your Shavasana. Now you may want to spend a bit more time in your Shavasana, so please go ahead and do that. I'm actually going to say goodbye right here as I'm supine. Place your hands on heart center. And we can look in the camera. Thank you guys for sharing your practice with me. I really hope that your lower body feels the yumminess, the deliciousness, and all the care that and attention that we gave it today. From my heart to yours, namaste, namaste, namaste. Thank you. Hope to see you again soon. Take care and goodbye. Enjoy your Shavasana.